Welcome back. This is 11.6, Center of Gravity of People, and this is also 10.6 in your textbook. We've already talked about fixed objects having a center of mass or center of gravity located wherever the average of the weight happens to be. If you have a person's body has limbs, and you can also move your head. Because you can move your head and arms and legs, you can configure your body into different shapes. Those different shapes are each going to have a different center of gravity. So that means that you can change your center of gravity just by flailing your arms and legs and head in such a way that you can change your center of mass, and then that center of mass can depend upon whether something is stable, not stable, rotating, not rotating, etc. So we'll look at this lesson. So if you check out that if you stand straight up and down with your arms to your sides, your center of mass is somewhere about your waist, okay, so below your belly button. If you were to raise your hands above your head, now you've got more mass above that point, so you're going to raise your center of mass. So your center of mass might be right in the middle of your chest. If you were to somehow put yourself in a different configuration, like a boomerang shape, where you have your arms and legs sticking out in one side of you, you may actually have the center of your mass outside of your body. So all of these can change depending on the configuration of how you place your body. I think this is the classic example of a center of gravity in a person, and that is the high jumper. There is the Fosbury flop is what it's called, and if you were to arrange yourself in any other configuration, you are not going to go as high. So the center of gravity is actually under the bar, and the center of gravity, any other configuration you put your body, and you would knock the bar down and not get to go as high. But if you can configure your body so that your center of gravity is actually outside your body, below the bar, then you can pass over the bar, and that's what this is called, named after the fellow who first did it. Like I've said before, if you are stable, it means that your center of gravity is directly above the support of your feet. And if you can widen your feet, then it makes it easier to stand up. So if you were to stand on a surfboard, you probably wouldn't have your feet together. You would have them wide apart as you could, with your center of gravity very low, with your knees bent. It makes it more stable. If you're on one foot, you tend to fall over, not because you can't balance, but because you only have a small support, and then your center of gravity has to be above it in order for you to be unstable. If it's ever not above it, you're going to fall over. So if you were to, say, put one foot, like bend your leg and put it up in a yoga pose or something like that, it makes it really, really hard, and you tend to fall a lot. So stability simply means your center of gravity has to be somewhere above the area bounded by your feet. So it doesn't have to be above a foot, it just has to be above the area bounded by your feet so that it's stable. Same thing with a chair. The four legs of a chair, the center of gravity of the chair and the person in the chair doesn't have to be above one of the legs, it just has to be above the area bounded by the legs. And whether that's 3 legs or 4 legs, you're going to, as long as it's above it, you're going to have stability. So, question, when you hold something in one hand that's heavy, such as something in a bucket, you normally put your other arm out. Why do you do that? Why, if you don't put your other arm out, what's happening is your center of gravity is closer to the bucket. And if your bucket is not over your feet, then you tend to fall over to that side. If you hold your other arm out, then you tend to move your center of gravity back over your feet, and you're more stable again. So did you learn it? On what does the location of a person's center of gravity depend? The orientation of their body. The center of gravity must be over the support of their legs or whatever they're sitting on in such a way that they're stable. If it's not, you're going to fall.